Hi Doodlers! In this video, we'll be talking about the wonderful if formula in English version. So, before we begin, I would like to give a shout out to Purihara for suggesting this content. So, let's get started! So we're here in the ifs sheet, okay? So we're gonna run through the following: the if and, if or, and nested if. So before we begin, we will just talk about first the logical operators in Microsoft Excel. So these are the following: so greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. So these serves as a reminder, and these are their symbols, right? So I believe we've went through this during our kid days, elementary days. But these are the ones that we use in the Microsoft Excel. So here, let's begin with this. So in typing formulas, we always start with the equals, okay? So equals if, tab, okay? So if logical test. So what is a logical test? This is the one where we use these operators wherein we compare values or cells, right? So in this scenario, we're gonna compare if the cost is greater than the budget. So the cost is greater than the budget. We're gonna have to type in do not buy. So notice that I put them in double quotation marks. So since this is a text, right? So else buy, okay, buy. Then this is, so check that this is the part of the formula in the if the value of this is true, and this is if the value is false, this will appear in our formula. Okay, so we have to close using the close parenthesis. So buy, and we can just double click this one. So there you go. So let's double check if this is correct. So is this greater than the budget? Is the cost greater than the budget? No. So we're in the part of the formula where the value that will be returned as false is returned. So it is a buy, okay? So is this greater than the budget? It is true, right? So we are in the do not buy. The value. Is this greater than the budget? No, since they're equal, so we have the buy value false. Is this greater than the budget? Yes. So it is true. So we're in the part of the formula wherein the return value is do not buy. Okay. So in this part, if, again, type it, cost is greater than the budget, right? So we have to put in a comma every time we're going to proceed with the next part of the formula. Okay. So the next part of the formula is if the value is true, we have to compute for the cost less budget. So since this is a less, we have to use dash, right? So if the value is false, so I put in comma again, right? Or in order to proceed to the next part of the formula, value is false. So if the value is false is there's nothing here that indicates anything if the value is false. So we're just gonna put in a blank. So this is how you put a blank in your formula. Under this is a double quotation mark and there's a blank, meaning inside that text. Okay, so okay, then okay, there. Okay, so is it correct? Is so in this scenario, this is blank because this is false. Okay, because this one is not greater than the budget. The cost is not greater than the budget, so it is false. So hence the blank. Also in this one, 37,500 is greater than 35,000, hence the computed value of 2,500. 37,500 less 35,000. And this one, is it greater than the budget? No, since it is equal, so hence the blank, okay, or the false part. So this one, cost is greater than the budget, so it computed for the difference between the cost and the budget because it is true. Okay, so I can also show you another cool thing about doing this. Okay, so we can also just not type this. We have a do not buy here, right? So we can just click this one. Okay, and I'm just gonna double click. Notice, okay, what I did was, yeah, double click, right, or probably copy this formula, but of course this is wrong because the reference is, notice that the reference is moving for these, right? Since we didn't lock this, so we have to lock this using pressing F4. Okay, so double click again. So that's the result a while ago. So same, because the formulas didn't move, right? Okay, and we're here in this part, which is the if and. Okay, the if and. How do we know what is and? Okay, so in using the and statement, we put this within the if. Okay, so the and operator is a very strict one. So why is it strict? Because everything within that and statement must be true in order to return a true value, or the true part of your formula. Okay, so for example, let's analyze this. If and, if the cost is greater than or equal to 20,000 and the cost is less than or equal to 30,000, it is a might buy. If not, it is maybe some blank again. So in analyzing this, we can say that if the cost is equal to 20,000 until 30,000, so that's the range. 20,000 to 30,000 is the range of the cost. If it is within the range of 20,000 to 30,000, it will return a might buy. So let's check. First is cost is greater than or equal to 30,000. So notice that I didn't put a comma, because if I put a comma, we will proceed to the second logical operator. So when we're typing in numerical values in our formulas, we don't put in a comma in them. Okay, so for the next, so this is the first logical test for D4 is, or the cost is greater than or equal to 20,000, and next is the cost is less than or equal to 30,000, and we're gonna close the formula. Okay, so we close the end using the parentheses. Okay, so comma, because we're gonna proceed with the next part of the formula, which is the value if true. So if the value if true, you're gonna type in might buy. If not, there's nothing here that tells us what to do, so we're just gonna have to type in a blank, and I put in a close parentheses in order to close the if statement, and enter. And again, so is this correct? Let's analyze. Okay, so this is the range in order to put in might buy, otherwise blank. This is how we analyze this, right? So is this 20 to 30,000? Yeah, so it is a might buy. So is this 20 30,000? No, so it is a blank. Is this 20 to 30,000? Yeah, so it is a might buy. So is this 20 to 30,000? Of course not, so it is a blank. So correct. Now let's proceed with the if or. So the if or is like an and, in a sense that it is less strict. So either of any logical test can be met. So if only one is met, it can proceed with the value that the result is true. Unlike this, it is end is very strict, so it must be within 20 to 30,000. So let us check. Essentially, if we check this, they are like really the same except for and or. So we're just gonna have to copy this, okay? But of course, if we copy that here, right, we're reference to this the budget, and if we copy that, you see the this is not locked again, right? So we're just gonna have to copy this formula itself here. So here we have almost the same formula, but we're just gonna change this into or. So in analyzing this, let's just check if. Then within the if, we type in, of course, the open parentheses, then the or, okay? Because this is where our logical operations or logical test will begin, okay? Or if the cost is greater than or equal to 20,000, then comma for another logical test, P4 or the cost is less than or equal to 30,000. Okay, so these are two conditions we must meet in order to proceed, comma, type in comma again, in order to proceed to the next part of the formula, which is the value if true, this might by, otherwise, comma again, in order to proceed to the last part of the formula, which is the value if false. So blank. And let's copy this. Ooh, so right. So this one, why does it return it? So if we're gonna check on this, the range isn't necessary for this. We don't have to meet the 20,000 to 30,000 range in order to have a might buy. So either of this can be met, okay? 20,000 or equal to 20,000 and less than or equal to 30,000, okay? Or since either of this condition can be met, we're gonna have to have a value which is true, which is in might buy. So in this part, okay, if the cost is greater than or equal to 20,000, so it is greater than 20,000, of course. So this is met already, so it is a might buy. So same for this. So they met greater than 20,000. So it is a might buy. So it didn't even care about this condition at all because it already met one of the condition, which is greater than 20,000. So that's it for if and. So for the and, it is more strict. So in a sense that all conditions must be met in order to proceed with the true result. And for the or, either one of the conditions inside that or statement can be met in order to proceed to a true result. So let's proceed with the nested if. So for the nested if, okay, let's type in if. So the nested if is there's an if within an if, not like this, if, not like this, but we have to first check the first condition. So cost is less than budget, okay? If the cost is less than the budget, then we buy. And if the value, so that is the first, right? So this is the value if true. Whereas if the value if false, we have to, if the cost is greater than 20,000, actually that is wrong. We have to put in the if, another part of the statement, which is because this is a nested if, right? If this one is met, this is true. This one is met. This is the first part, which is true. If this is not met, if this is false, we're gonna have to proceed with the another if. Okay, so what is the another if? So you need to say in the and nested ifs, it involves many ifs. So in this condition, we had gonna have to compare. First is the for the second if is we're involving and, right? So in typing again, after the if and the open parentheses, we're gonna have to type in and, then open parentheses, then the comparisons or the logical test. Then what is the first logical test? Cost is greater than 20,000, and the second logical test is cost. Again, let's click this. The cost less than or equal to 30,000. Then, of course, we're gonna have to close the formula. And upon closing the formula, we type in might buy, or just you can click this and lock it. And if the value is false, do not buy. Click this and lock it. So since we're typing two ifs, we're gonna have to use two parentheses to close this. We're closing two ifs using two closing parentheses. Okay, so let's check if this is indeed correct. So first, why is it a buy? Because the cost is less than the budget. Then the second is a do not buy, because else do not buy. So the 20,000 to 30,000 range is not met here. Okay, so it exceeded 30,000 and it didn't meet that because the cost is less than the budget. So it is a do not buy. Cost is more than the budget. Actually, it is a do not buy. And for this, it met the might buy because it met the 20,000 until the 30,000 part, right? Equal 30,000, right? So, and for this, it is a do not buy because the cost is not equal to the budget. It didn't meet this, and also it didn't meet the 20,000 to 30,000 range, and so that's a do not buy. So that's it for our if tutorial. And if you have any questions, or if you have any content suggestions, you can just comment them down below and I will be glad to check on it. So thank you very much and take care, doodlers.